Welcome back. In the last couple of videos, we've tackled the questions of where's my model going to go and how's my model going to function. And so now let's cover some places/tools to help deploy machine learning models. Now I say some because there's quite a bit more than these, and if you'd like to add some, please leave a discussion on the GitHub. But if you want to deploy a model on device/mobile or edge, you'll probably want to look into something like Google's ML Kit or Apple's Core ML for Apple devices. And then for the cloud, you have resources such as Google Cloud's Vertex AI, Amazon Web Services SageMaker, Hugging Face, Azure Machine Learning. Gradio is a great bonus that pairs well with Hugging Face. In fact, a little spoiler, that's what we're going to be using throughout the rest of this section. And then as something a bit more general solution, you can have Fast API to deploy your model as an API. TorchServe is PyTorch's, let's just jump into it, PyTorch's performant, flexible, and easy to use tool for searching PyTorch eager mode and Torch scripted models. Oh my goodness, that is a wordy sentence there. But a PyTorch eager mode model is just the models that we've been building. Eager mode kind of stands for that if you put data in it, it returns it. Torch scripted models is another thing that you might want to look into for Torch script if you want to deploy your models. So its scripture model turns it into a Python script or something like that. Yeah, any Torch script program can be saved from a Python process and loaded in a process where there is no Python dependency. Wonderful. So if you would like to learn more about these, I would encourage you to go through the documentation. We are just covering these at a high level. The reason we're doing this is because there are a lot of different places to help you deploy machine learning models and tools, and it will kind of highly be dependent on what your use case is. For example, if you're working on food vision mining, you might want to look into these models. Or if you're working on an image generation app, you might want to look into something like this. Or if you're looking for just to try and work out how you can deploy your model as an API, you might start with Fast API, then go to something like TorchServe. And if you need your model to work almost anywhere, you might want to look into ONNX, or ONNX, Open Neural Network Exchange. So if we jump into this, what is ONNX.ai? Open Neural Network Exchange, the open standard for machine learning interoperability. Now, the reason why we're covering these at kind of a high level and not diving into them is because we could spend weeks or months diving into each one of these. So I'm just kind of making you aware that these different resources are out there. And then if you'd like to learn more about them, please feel free to jump into the documentation. And of course, for different resources, you might get to one job and have to use AWS, or you might start another job and they're using Fast API. So again, it will be highly dependent on the use case of where you want to deploy your machine learning models. And of course, where can you learn more? If we go here, PyTorch extra resources for sure. But if we go into PyTorch model deployment, we have what we're going to cover, ways to deploy a machine learning model. So there's Google's ML Kit, the deployment type, Apple's Core ML and Caller ML tools. So if you wanted to deploy a model onto an iPhone, for example, or an Apple device, here we go. Use the Core ML's Python package to convert models from third-party training libraries, which is what we've used, such as TensorFlow and PyTorch. We've used PyTorch to Core ML. Beautiful. So there's some information there on using Core ML or Core ML tools to convert your PyTorch model into an ML package, which is usable on Apple devices. And then if we go back to here, there's also Hugging Face Spaces, Microsoft Azure's Machine Learning, Google Cloud's Vertex AI, Amazon Web Services, SageMaker. These are all cloud resources. And then the few more general ones that we've discussed here, or just really we haven't discussed much about them, I've just made you aware of them. So if you see them, you've kind of gone, oh, I've seen those things. I can use those for my machine learning model deployment. These are APIs, so an API is an application programming interface. Got that note there. With Fast API, TorchServe is kind of I would say it's got more features than Fast API, it's more dedicated. Fast API is kind of general APIs, like rather than just specifically machine learning. TorchServe has been built with machine learning in mind. So this one's probably a little bit more robust if you want to deploy your machine learning model as an API. And then ONNX has So many use cases, it's almost impossible to list them here. But one of my favorite ones is ONNX Web Runtime. So this is very powerful if you want to deploy your model into the browser. And there's an article here that I've linked as extra resources, which does exactly this, moving ML inference from cloud to the edge. So a little bit more to learn there. But again, we're just covering these things at a high level because it will be highly dependent on what you're going to do. And instead of talking about all of these different places and tools to help you deploy machine learning models, let's actually try one out and put it into practice. So in the next video, we're going to cover what we're doing. And there's a little bit of a spoiler here, but I'm going to save that. I'll see you in the next video.